Hello, Peter.
Hey there, Mark. Good evening. Hi, everybody at home. Hi, Landons. You're out. Looks like you're out boating.
The Landons are on assignment. We've sent them over the border. We had to test if what we talked about last week actually worked, and you could see there they are smiling. So it must have worked.
They let us through. They let us through. I have no idea how or why, but they let us in.
We did everything right. Did all the appropriate procedures and got a clearance to do the transit through BC waters to Southeast Alaska. So we're on our way.
Well, congratulations.
All right, we'll talk more about that during the updates because we've got some information about all kinds of people going on the transit trip. So we'll talk about that in a little bit.
It's a beautiful day out in Seattle, May 13th, season 2, episode 2. We've got the Landons update. We're going to hear from Mark Bunzel on an update. We've got some special guests, friends of the show, friends of the family, Jeff Lindhout and Kate Anderson of the Port of Everett, the marina there, the West Coast's largest marina. So we've got a lot in store this evening. No shortage of boating topics. Incredible weather out there today, folks, as you saw from your own backyards or helms. If you're out boating, let us know. Drop us a note in the chat. If you're on our YouTube channel, seattleboatshow.com, and I'll put the YouTube channel in the chat box, but please subscribe, tell your friends about us. Let's build a crowd as we launch into season 2. So Mark, what updates do you have for us?
Well, it's really interesting with this weather. I think it's getting everybody really set to get out there on the water, which is good. And a lot of people are asking, where can they go? Where if they can't cross the border, where to go? And I think we're going to have to put together a show that talks about going south and covering the South Sound and some of the other great places like Tacoma and Olympia and Gig Harbor and Poulsbo and down Hood Canal, where I'm going to head later this summer. And it's going to be another great summer on the water. I'm really looking forward to it.
Excellent, excellent. And then we've got a little bit of news as well. We've got the Anacortes Boat and Yacht Show, Anacortes Boat and Yacht Spring Sale, which will take place Friday, May 21st and Saturday, May 22nd in beautiful Anacortes, Washington. Over 60 boats for sale. So we're hoping that to get a nice socially distanced crowd there. There was a little bit of news out of the CDC today with Dr. Anthony Fauci saying we don't necessarily need to wear a mask if you've been vaccinated. I assume the entire event will be masked, though, given the importance of that our state has placed on mask and social distancing. Governor Inslee made a little bit of news earlier the hour talking about the reopening, which I can share in a little bit. So yeah, don't be a stranger to the Anacortes Boat and Yacht Spring Sale, and I will put that in the chat as well.
We'll be there from the Wagner Guide. Leonard and Lorena won't, unfortunately. But we're going to have an open house at our offices for those people who want to stop by. And maybe we'll have some cookies and a light beverage to celebrate anybody who stops by our office right down from the Cap Sandy Marina. So please put that on your schedule. And Landons, what do we have for updates?
Next week is National Safe Boating Week. That's next week, but this week is important also because it's the Mark Bunzel birthday week. So happy birthday, Mark Bunzel.
You snuck that in there as an update.
I did.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Appreciate it.
And then we can share what we experienced for the transit through. Basically, we pulled into Van Isle Marina in Sydney, and we used the cell phone, but there is a phone on the dock. You could use either one. and talked to Ottawa. They asked the basic questions: how many aboard, the names, passports, anyone else aboard? Yes. Dog, has the dog been rabies vaccinated? Yes. What other things do you have to declare? Fruit, vegetables, firearms, ammo, etc. And after making our declaration, she said, agent would be down to your boat to talk with you and to wait there. So we waited, and 2 agents showed up, and they went through the same questions. And we had a list of vegetables and fruit. It was okay since we were doing the transit through and not stopping. We could keep those on board. And no ammo, no guns, but they reiterated, now, are you sure this is everything you have to declare? And we said yes. And they said, this is your last chance. Okay, no, this is everything. We've declared everything. And they had us step off the boat onto the dock and said, we're going to go through your boat now and inspect it. And 2 agents, if not 3, were on the boat, and they went through all the cupboards and cubby holes and checked everything, and thought we were very well organized. And we had a float plan for each day, where we would be anchoring, where would we stop for fuel, and they thought everything was in order. We were given a clearance, and they were all very professional and very friendly all at the same time. So it was a good experience. We even had Canadian boaters pass by and wave to us, so that was nice.
Yeah.
Did you, did they have you read the COVID policy?
They did. They asked us health questions. Have you been ill? Are you ill now? Do you have a fever? Have you been around anyone who's been ill? They asked specifically, have you been around anyone from India or Africa, or been with them?
Yeah. And so the agent really has 2 areas that they have questions about. And the first one really is the COVID area, and questions about the health, and also statements about the fact that we are quarantining. So when you're transiting through, you're under quarantine for that, through your entire transit through. And they're very serious about that. It is a formal quarantine. And that's really where the ArriveCan app fits into it. You fill out this ArriveCan app, and that provides contact information to the Public Health Authority. And it's up to CBSA to verify that you did that. So that's one area, the COVID area. And then the second area of the agent's interview and comments have to do with the standard customs clearance, which is all of the information about alcohol and firearms, et cetera, that Lorena mentioned, the standard stuff. And it is pretty standard, except that they're doing some exceptions with fruits, vegetables, and things that normally you would not necessarily be allowed to bring in. It's very clear that they don't want you to bring apples in. But other than that, we brought in some mandarin oranges and a few things that otherwise may not have been allowed, potatoes, for instance. And they're doing that because they know you're going to be on the boat, and you're not getting off, and you're not going to stop anywhere. So it's what you have on the boat. I was going to add to it that Lorena mentioned it too. We, to our pleasant surprise, we got a number of pleasant waves and hellos from the standard Canadian welcome to American boaters, and they know we're American. We have our American flag flying, and we're running our AIS transmit is on all the time, and which by the way is recommended. It's they want to know that you're on your route and your planned route. So have a plan. The big one is plan it out ahead. Usually we don't do a real detailed plan, but have a detailed plan. Know exactly where you're going to go. Make it realistic. Realistic in the sense that you can really accomplish that. Leave enough extra time in there. We've been doing at least 10-hour days. Today was a little longer than that. We started about 4:30 this morning and to get through Seymour Narrows. But just again, we did this in the webcast, and that is, it's big stuff to do this. And so plan it well, get the plan written down and over to the agents when they come to see you. And the ArriveCan app and the on-site, they're planning to do to visit every single boat as they come through. So make sure you're ready for that full inspection. They're planning to do every single boat. That was about it on the updates for us. Is that right?
Yeah, that's it for us for updates. And I think you have a few things, Mark.
Well, yeah, we've been talking to a number of people who have been going through Canadian Customs on the transit plan. And we've gotten a couple different variations on what the Landons said. A lot of focus on the traditional questions, as Leonard said. Alcohol, do you have any cannabis or cannabis products or edibles or anything like that? Guns. Somebody I know went through today and they were asked whether they had $10,000, and they stopped and hesitated for a moment, and the agent perked up and he said, well, I've got Canadian cash on board. And I don't want to embarrass this individual, and I won't mention his name, but in case he has to do repairs in Canada, he carries about $13,000 in Canadian cash. And the agent then asked him about that. And are you sure you don't have anything else? And are you sure you don't have any guns? So they really go into that detail. Now, this particular individual, they got through customs and continued on. And then the RCMP came up and talked to him and then asked the same questions. And even though they had been cleared in by CBSA, RCMP asked the same questions also. And a general comment from other people who've been going across the border is there is no clear pattern to this, that the agencies do not appear to be sharing any information or even sharing policies. We were told by one individual crossing the border that he called on the telephone system to Ottawa or Winnipeg, and they said, oh, don't worry about it. You don't have to check in at the dock. And they did anyway, which was good they did, because the agents in British Columbia said, oh yeah, we do want you to personally check in. And then another comment came that we had said last week, hey, it's good to get a agent's name and badge number if you're asked specific question, get information. And then somebody came back and said, well, actually, the agents consider that to be an insult if you ask for their name and badge number. So there is no consistency that we're finding, but the general things that we talked about, they do appreciate. I've heard numerous comments that the agents appreciated that people who we've talked to came through and they're prepared. They have a float plan. They have a plan, a listing of who's on board. Somebody else I talked to today said they did have over the limit for wine or liquor, and they offered to pay for the overage, and no, they weren't asked to pay for that at all. So there's no consistency to it, but I still believe the general rules that we talked about in last week's show and in some of the articles we put out there are still worth following. And I think the good news is that if they're convinced that you're doing a expedited trip through British Columbia, that you're not going to be mingling into towns or recreating in BC, that they're allowing people to go through. So we'll report if we hear any changes on that, but I think it's going along as we hoped. The other thing that we'll mention is that the Roam app, we've been getting news, and we'll continue to report on this, that the US Border Services is about to release the Roam One app, a new version of it, and we'll be reporting further on this. This will come out in the next couple of weeks, and Leonard and Lorena are going to be investigating this further when they cross the border back into the US in Ketchikan. And so they are looking for more information. The app now has more information in case you're driving through, which doesn't affect us. But we're carefully following that. We'll report back to all of you on that.
So it is the CBP One app, and that one I did download it and tried to use it, but it's not ready yet for small vessel reporting. At least it wasn't in the Seattle area. There's some indication that it might be available in other areas yet, but that's still sketchy information right now. So we'll have something on that hopefully in about a week or so if everything goes well headed north.
Okay, Peter, I see you
Very
have a
good.
question.
Oh, there's a couple questions in the chat. How long did it take you to clear customs?
About an hour, really.
Yeah, about an hour. And we've heard numbers that are right in that vicinity. Allocate at least an hour. I'd give it at least an hour to 2 hours. We heard this was last season. Somebody waited 3 hours, but lately we haven't heard of any numbers that are that long. Other people have been through faster than that, but again, allocate enough time on that in your plan.
We've
Thanks.
heard great results of people entering through the Van Isle Marina, including the dock hands being there to help you with your lines. So,
And let me add on there's a lot of people are going through the Van Isle. We were initially going to go through Port Sydney, and I discovered why, and why people are going through Van Isle. It has to do with the ArriveCan app. The ArriveCan app has a drag down list for the port of entry that you're coming through. And that list, which is the entire Canada, has a whole long list of ports of entry, but it does not have Port Sydney. It has Van Isle in it. And so that's why I think a lot of people are going through Van Isle.
good information to share. Thank you. There was also a question about the amount of alcohol you can bring in. We have this in the Wagner Guide, but in short, correct me if I'm wrong, but it's 2 bottles of wine per person. There's also a limit on how much hard alcohol. And then I think it's 24 bottles of beer per person, a case of beer per person.
That's right. I tracked it down, Mark, and I put it in the chat box.
Oh, perfect. Thank you, Peter.
You bet.
Other news, we're going through a bit of a generational change with the ownership of marinas up and down the Inside Passage. And we just received word today that Shearwater Marina, which has been for sale, Shearwater Marine water operations have been sold to a group that's already involved in that business from Bridgeview Marina in Canada. And then the local tribe has purchased the land of the marina and the marina operations. Now, this has not closed, and we don't expect there to be any change in the operations there. I did talk to the Craig Woodstead, the current owner, and he assured me that they're open for fuel operation, and they should have plenty of fuel through the summer. They will bring takeout orders down to your boat, and they will deliver from the grocery store there. So if you're up in northern British Columbia, Shearwater is still a reasonable place to stop. It's just you're not asked not to get off the boat, and which is pretty consistent with what we've been reporting all the way along. I believe that's all I have for updates. And as you can tell, we're keeping an eye on all of this, and we'll keep reporting it to you. And thanks all for your interest in this.
Thanks, Mark. I've got a few things keeping me up at night in a good way. We actually had a bill signing ceremony, as I mentioned, at the last Seattle Boat Show Live, where Governor Inslee signed House Bill 1107 into law, which now allows our state to sell permits to visiting vessels where the captain or crew are provided. And if I may be so bold, I'm going to try to show the bill signing ceremony right now. It's just an hour and a half. It's really enjoyable, though. Trust me, you're going to love it. No, it's about 5 seconds. See if I can pull this off here.
Did you get a pen?
That's everything's virtual, so it's a little bit of an anticlimactic bill signing ceremony. No,
I know
no
you
pen.
worked really hard on this.
No pen. It's a big achievement for the entire industry, but yeah, here it goes.
This is House Bill 1107. This allows non-resident owned vessels more flexibilities in the length of time they can spend in Washington waters without having to pay taxes on the vessel's full amount. Thanks, Representative Chapman, for this tourism-oriented bill.
And that's it. That was in about 4 seconds. That was
And
the
Peter,
bill
how many
signing
months
ceremony.
of work was that?
Yeah, it was over a year. It was about 18 months of work. Fred Robinson, my partner in crime, had worked on it for 15 years. So yeah, it all culminated in grand finale with the fireworks of a bill signing ceremony. So really pleased to bring that win to our state for sure. It's a big partnership.
Congratulations, Peter. I know you
Right.
worked really hard on it.
Yeah, no, you see the big smile on my face. Port Angeles was a big supporter, as were about 15 other public ports, including the Port of Everett, the city of Everett. I don't know, Mark, if you read Mega Yacht News today yet.
I usually read it before bed, but yes.
Okay, well, my friend Diane Byrne, that's her publication. I met with Diane on the phone yesterday, and a very nice spread that kind of lays out the nuts and bolts of what this will mean for out-of-state vessels in our state. And then another little more press we got: defeating the watercraft excise tax. NMTA and Arbaugh were featured in Soundings Trade Only today. Norm Schultz, longtime boating columnist in that trade publication, profiled Northwest Marine Trade Association, and our big success there, defeating that one. So that felt good. A couple other things, Mark. I attended a 2.5-hour boating safety meeting today where the boating law administrator, Rob Sendak, briefed the stakeholders on where things stand. And those mandatory boater education cards are flying off the shelves. Last year we issued 6,500 as a state. Typically we're about 5,500, and we're already ahead of schedule for 2021 by about 1,500. So
Good.
people are taking that exam. People are interested in boating. There is just boats everywhere. As you know, you talked with Troy Buck earlier, and he said the same thing. And I just, one more thing, and I'll stop jabbering here, but I did attend the Nordhaven Rendezvous. I know it's a rough life, hard knock life, as Charles Dickens would say. Yeah, it was the world's largest collection of Nordhavens at one marina. That was at the Paulsville Marina over the weekend, thanks to our friend Bill Baker, who organized that venture. Incredible city, incredible town, incredible energy. We had a blast, and we saw a lot of friends. We saw friends of the show, Sean and Elizabeth from MV Freedom. It was fun to meet them in person, fun to see humans in person, gallivanting around for sure. And then I know that the Roche Harbor Marina held the Grand Banks rendezvous at the same time with over 80 Grand Banks. So
right.
Boats. So yeah, that is my update.
Well, that's fantastic. Thank you, Peter. And that was 50. Well, how many Nordhavens? And
Yeah, over 50.
That had to be quite a sight, quite a fleet. That's great.
It was Christmas Day for a lot of those owners, just to be around other Nordhaven friends, and people were just smiling. It was a lot of energy around the docks that day, with a big dinner, and see Don Coleman and Mark Gilbert there, and some national folks from the Nordhaven company. So yeah, it was certainly a fun experience.
Sounds like fun. What's your next foreign assignment like that? We sent you to Little Norway. So where do you go next?
Yeah, I'm going to St. Louis to see my mom, who's watching right now. Hi, Mom. We'll be there in June, going to Yellowstone this summer. I know that's not boating related necessarily, Mark, but that's one of the first times I ever went on a boat was Lake Yellowstone. So see if we can get a boat trip there. That's the North America's highest freshwater lake. And then the big boating trip later in the summer, San Juan Islands. Still trying to put that together. So thanks for asking.
Good. So we've got a very interesting set of interviews tonight, and the Everett Marina, as Peter said, is the largest in the state, largest on the West Coast. And if you haven't been there in a while, it's worth revisiting, because they've been really doing a lot of construction, a lot of expansion to it. And it's quite amazing when you drive in by boat or by truck or car, and all of a sudden see it's a whole different place now. It's just amazing. Kate and Jeff, if you could join us. We've got with us Jeff Lindhout, who's Director of Harbor Operations. There's Kate. And Kate, who is Director of Communications, right?
Communications specialist. No, you gave me more credit than I deserve, so thanks.
Oh,
and I
no
would say
increase in pay, but better title. And Jeff has an incredible history. I think Jeff was born into boating. His family was involved with sea sport boats, and Jeff's been about boating his whole life. And now is
Mark, you want me to go through their bios? They are very impressive.
Lorena. You're much better at this.
Yeah,
than
Mark. Yeah. We don't
want to leave anything out. We have two very impressive guests, so I'm going to just go over some of their incredible backgrounds. Starting with Jeff, he's the Chief of Marina Operations for the Port of Everett, and he has been around boating most of his life. He grew up in Bellingham, and spent his summers fishing, crabbing, and enjoying the waters off Sandy Point in Ferndale, Washington, where his family had a summer cabin. He later found himself back on the water, commercial fishing in Alaska during the summers while attending Gonzaga University and the law school there. After college, he went back to Bellingham and began working in the family business, selling boats at Marine Services Northwest. And then in 2000, the family purchased the boat manufacturing company Seasports Boats, Inc., where he held the position of general manager. And in May of 2012, he accepted the position of Marina Director for the Port of Everett. He's been around boating for a long time in all types of areas: leisure boating, commercial fishing, boat sales, boat manufacturing, storing, and mooring boats. So welcome, Jeff. And Kate Anderson is also with us. She's the communications specialist at the Port of Everett. She grew up boating and fishing with her family in the San Juan Islands. In college, she worked at Roche Harbor Marina in the summers and went on to work at Elliott Bay Marina in Seattle during her senior year in college. And after college, she started full-time with Northwest Marine Trade Association. There's the bell, there we go, as membership director, where she helped grow the membership to over 725 members during her 3 years. While at NMTA, she purchased and restored a 1968 runabout called Lil Red, which was featured on King 5's evening magazine about millennials getting into boating. And in 2018, she came to the Port of Everett Marina as a customer service representative before moving to the public affairs team in 2019. She has been recognized for her leadership skills and has given a Marina Dockage Young Leader Award and honored as one of the boating industry's under 40 achievers. So we're pleased about that. Welcome, Kate, and welcome, Jeff.
Well, thank you, everybody. We've now run out of time after great bios for two of you.
Hard to believe
we want to hear about the Everett Marina, and thank you both for joining us. It's a lot of fun. So
hard to believe there wasn't something hard to believe there wasn't something not mentioned in Kate's bio, but I will add that Kate is a former babysitter of Olive and August, my two kids, Emily and my two kids. So that probably prepped you well for your position at the Port of Everett.
Sure did.
All right. Well, tell us about what's happened. Is the building done at Everett, or is it going to continue? Are there more things? I've seen a bridge go up, all kinds of things. Tell us what's going on.
There's a lot going on. First of all, thank you very much for the nice introduction. I think I can speak for Kate that we're both very excited to share with what's going on at the Port of Everett. There is a lot that's going on. As you mentioned, I've been there now 8 years, and pretty much I was on the front edge of all this development 8 years ago when I started there. It just was getting underway at that point in time. And it's just been really exciting to see the transformation of that waterfront. I think most people kind of think of Everett, and they think of Everett as this industrial footprint from way back when, and it's changed a lot. And so one of the things in this presentation that I guess we neglected to put in, Kate, that I was hoping that we were going to put in was an aerial shot of what Everett used to look like. We had it in one of our other presentations, and that goes a long way to sort of show or highlight where we've come. So yeah, we're happy to go through this presentation, kind of let you know a high level overview of what's happening both uplands and in the water. Kate's going to handle most of the upland stuff, and I'll talk about some of the in-water stuff. But yeah, we can just kind of mosey through this. Kate, anything to add before we get started?
No, I echo Jeff. We're excited to be here. Please ask questions. We have a lot of photos in this. And we'll mention that some of them are not quite as up to date, so you'll have to come down and see what's going on.
Yeah, so this photo is a fairly recent photo. As you can see, large aerial shot, shows all three basins. We put this in there just to kind of orient people with what we're looking at here. To the right of the screen is the Snohomish River coming down. You can see Jetty Island in the background back there, which is a man-made island that we send a ferry out to every summer and gets a lot of recreational activity out there. We have 3 different basins. The North Basin on your right side, that was built in 2007. And then as you move to the left-hand side, and as we're going south, we have our Central Basin there. That's where the majority of the in-water work has been happening since I've been there. If we had the older aerial picture, you would see a completely different look there. And then further south there, which is just adjacent to the Navy base, is our South Marina, and that's where we have our covered morages. So a lot of what you're seeing here is just happened in the last 8 years or so. You can see the hotel going up there. I can't see if we have the apartments there, but just a lot of different activity that's been happening there. We have a new guest stock 6 up there, if you can point to that, Kate. But it kind of gives you an idea of just the sheer size of the marina. Like I said, 10 guest stocks and 2,200 slips, so it's the largest public marina on the West Coast. But go ahead, Kate, and we can. We threw this slide in just to give an idea of not only where our guest stocks are, but also what some of the businesses and restaurants are that have come in there. We have a lot of guest moorage there. A lot of people ask that, you know, where's your guest moorage at? How much guest moorage do you have? And we have 10 guest stocks. And so it's a first come, first serve basis. So we always have moorage available there. We just started with the Dakwa this last year, so you can make reservations, but most of the time, unless it's a very busy summer weekend day, you can find moorage there. But we wanted to show this just to show that we have Scuttlebutt there. I think a lot of people have been to Scuttlebutt and Seize the Day Cafe, Blue Water, Anthony's up there in the corner. So a lot of restaurant opportunities and a lot of space for people to walk around and see the parks and so forth.
What's the one food item to order at Scuttlebutt?
Gosh, that's hard to say. Do you have a favorite?
Nachos, I would say, I guess.
Yeah, there's I think I've had pretty much everything there, and it's all pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
So we put this slide in there just to highlight our boat launch and boatyard operations. We have 2 travel lifts, a 55-ton travel lift and a 70-ton travel lift. This boatyard was put in at the same time as the North Marina, which is in 2007. We call this our Craftsman District. State-of-the-art, environmentally compliant boatyard. Spring and summer, it's full all the time. We have a washdown facility there, great operations crew that works there. It's a do-it-yourself boatyard, so you can come there and do all your work yourself, or we have, you can leave it to the pros to do as well. We have a lot of marine service businesses there to take care of you. Up on the top right-hand corner, that's a shot of our boat launch. Again, we're known for being big, biggest boat launch in the state. It's a 13-lane boat launch, and surprisingly, it actually gets, I mean, it fills up. I mean, you wouldn't think that it would, but well, this next week, I guess we have a shrimp opener, and that will be an example of when it really fills up there. But that originally was 7 lanes. It got expanded to 13 lanes and just is highly used. People come from all over to use that boat launch. So it's a great facility.
So this is Waterfront Place. This is what Mark was referring to. This is all of the new construction and new buildings that we have at the port. So this gives a lot of detail, but I'll keep it high level. It's a 65-acre mixed-use project, and it's supporting over 1,000 jobs. Will create about 2,000 jobs when it's all done. This is not exactly what it's going to look like. This was an early rendering, but it kind of gives you an example. This is just another view of the aerial shot Jeff was talking about. So this will all be built out one day. Most of this is built out, and this to the right is. This area is called Fisherman's Harbor, which I don't know if any of you recall last July, there was a 4-alarm fire of these apartment buildings here, the South building. Thankfully, nobody was injured, nobody was hurt, but the whole building was totally destroyed. And so they are rebuilding that. It's vertical again. That's a 4-story apartment building. And then the north building right here is actually opening this week. So it's fully leased, and we'll be having a groundbreaking ceremony next week. Just to the left of that here is the Hotel Indigo with Jetty Bar and Grill. I'll touch on that in a little bit. But we're excited because as this keeps getting built out to the west, you'll see this dot here for the A17 office building and restroom. So that's located right here by our newest guest dock, which is guest dock 5, and our activity barge for different groups and rendezvous. So this will be a restroom facility mainly for that guest dock. And then this office building will house 2 yacht brokers, Waterline Yachts and Bellingham Yachts. And it will also house Freedom Boat Club. So we're excited. Freedom Boat Club is a boat share company. They're located all over the Puget Sound, all over the world actually. They have quite a few spots around the Puget Sound, and they will be opening later this spring, early summer. So we're excited. They're starting with 4 boats. I think it will be great for the community. For non-boaters who are looking for a way to get into boating, it's a great resource. So this is a few shots of the new apartment building. It does really look like this. These are early renderings, but it's beautiful inside. It has a nice rooftop area. So both buildings are 4 stories high, and together they'll total 266 units. Like I said, they are pre-leased, and it's an easy walk to your boat. So I know some boaters have leased those, and they have boats down at the marina. And then here's a few photos. This one on the left here is from one of the hotel rooms at Hotel Indigo with Jetty Bar and Grill underneath. It's a great place. We like to go eat there. They have a nice little outdoor section and everything with, fire pits. And then right in front of it, you can see on the bottom left here is the splash fountain. And that will be opening up here pretty soon. And it's just kind of a nice, fun place to take pictures. It looks right out onto the water. That's right where guest dock 5 is.
What do you order at Hotel Indigo, Kate?
Last time I went there, I had a really good chicken salad, but they have really good burgers, and I like their breakfast menu. Yeah.
I'll add as well, Kate, that right at that spot this next year, we're going to have our Holiday at the Bay event as well, and we'll have a holiday Christmas feature there, buying a big tree there, so it'll be nice there.
Yes.
Kate, I saw you at the last holiday event down at the Port of Everett, and you were showing a movie that was simulcast on a radio station, right? Did I get that right?
Yeah, so every summer, and I'll talk about this a little bit, we do something called Sail and Cinema. And so this last year with COVID, we couldn't do boat in or sail in. It had to be a drive-in. So this year with the announcement today, we are rethinking what that's going to look like. It will probably be a hybrid of both, part drive-in and part, you can sit down at the big boxcar park area. So it will still encourage boaters to boat in. They can tie up a guest dock 6 for the night, and then they can just walk up with their chairs and blankets. But yeah, that's super successful. And because it was so successful, we added it to our Holiday on the Bay event in early December. So this is kind of showing what some of our completed projects have been out in Fisherman's Harbor. Hotel Indigo, Pacific Rim Plaza, which includes the splash fountain over here. It kind of showcases our trading partners. Because as a port, we do have the international seaport just to the south of us and the south of the Navy base. And then at guest dock 5, all of our guest docks are open to the public. So you can walk along the promenade we have, but you can also walk down along the docks, which is somewhat unique. And then this continues. This mark shows the Grand Avenue Park Bridge. This is a huge, huge feat that the city of Everett did last summer. And it's awesome. It connects the city of Everett down to the waterfront. It's used all the time. It has great views of the marina up there. So it's a great place for guest boaters to come if they want to come down to the waterfront or boat in, and then they can just walk uptown and see the sights, get something to eat uptown if they want. And this is another angle of the new guest dock 5. Jeff, do you want to touch on any of this at all?
Yeah, it's actually a great new amenity. It's really at the heart of Fisherman's Harbor. It's about a 700 foot long dock from opening to opening. So there's 2 openings on each end of the dock. And as Kate said, people can come down to the marina, get right down on the water into the dock area there. We have our activity barge down there as well, which I think we have another photo. We can show you that. But yeah, it's just a great spot. The promenade is just adjacent to it there, and where the promenade is, they're going to have all of the restaurant pads. So there'll be 3 different restaurant pads that are going there. So the idea behind sort of all of the development is to be able, even though we have a large footprint there with these 3 different basins, that we have easy, accessible public access, and people are really close to the water and can see the boats and get down close to them, and just really experience the waterfront.
Hey, Jeff, we've got a question that came in. Do your guest docks 2 and 5 have 50 amp, 240 volt plug-in power?
Yeah, they have 30 and 50.
Okay.
And they're Bellingham Marine docks. I think they're 10 feet wide. And yeah, they're just been a great amenity, and we think they'll get a lot of use once word gets out there. It is all lineal side tie though.
That's great. That's fantastic. Makes it much easier.
Mm-hmm. Is this me or you, Kate?
This is all you, Jeff.
Okay, this is a good aerial photo, just because it really does highlight Fisherman's Harbor there. Kate, you're gonna have to do some pointing here. Guest dock 5 is right over in that area right there, which we just saw. But just west of that is new K dock, so that's a brand new dock as well. Those are all 70-foot slips there, and lineal side tie on the west side. One of the things that we have done over the last few years is, if you can remember the old days, they had docks and boathouses going east to west. And so now we got everything going north and south. We relocated all the privately owned boathouses. The port-owned boathouses, we tore down. We built new G-dock. If you can point to where G-dock is there, Kate. And so all of the privately owned boathouses are in one spot, and then we have lineal side tie next to that. So basically everything from those private boathouses east is fairly new construction. And what this slide is also showing is a project that is upcoming, which is our fuel dock. Fuel dock, it's kind of that not just straight dock there, but has a little bit of a curve to it there. That is due for replacement this next year. We're going to do some dredging in that area. And I think on the next slide, Kate, do we actually show the, yeah, there we go. So the idea is to straighten out that dock, move it further east so it gets out of the river a little bit, out of the channel and the current there, and make maneuverability a little bit easier there. And then do some dredging in that area that needs it. And then also build a brand new dock further west there that has larger moorages as well. One of the things that we've been trying to do is we have a significant number of smaller moorages at the port, and we're trying to convert those into larger moorages. And we've done that with our K dock with the 70 footers. And this would be another effort to put some larger boats in that area. So we're really excited about that. Brand new dock, brand new facility, and hopefully get some larger vessels in that area. Again, just a high level overview here. You can kind of see where the boathouses are there on the top of your screen, and then the covered moorages on the south there. What they're pointing at right there where the yellow is, that's the Everett Yacht Club. The Everett Yacht Club used to be up on your top left-hand corner there. They recently had their groundbreaking this last Saturday. So the Everett Yacht Club is moving to what used to be the old marina office. That was a long time ago, way before my time, but they took possession of that building. They're going to do some renovations, put a couple of decks on it, do some upgrades, paint it. And the nice thing about it is it not only gives them a long-term facility for their club, but their reciprocal moorage is going to be directly right out in front of them on E-Dock as well. So at the end of E-Dock, they're going to have 50 feet on the west side and 100 feet on the east side there. And literally from their yacht club, they'll be able to look out their windows and see their reciprocal moorage there. In addition to that, that building has a plaza that was just put in the last year. So it's a great meeting space there. The port is going to retain its, also has our restrooms and our laundry facilities there in a breezeway. So the port will retain that portion of it, but the rest of it all is going to be Everett Yacht Club, and their groundbreaking ceremony was wonderful. They're all very excited about it, and we've already started on our work on the docks for the reciprocal moorage, and they've already started on their renovation. So hopefully very soon they'll be able to occupy and use that.
So here are two pictures. This is obviously pre-COVID of the two different activity barges that we have. And it's important to note these can be moved anywhere around the marina. So if you have, large groups or rendezvous, there is a discount to rent these out. You'll see up here, this was actually, both of these pictures are for our Customer Connect. So we have, we throw our customers a party each August usually. Peter, you may recognize in this bottom photo, this guy playing the steel drums. He has been at the Anacortes Boat and Yacht Show in previous years. This year probably will not be with COVID and everything going on. But this is really fun. We have people, bring their dinghies, tie up to these. If you rent them, there's chairs, tables, umbrellas, and then barbecues as well. And there's also power on the activity barges. And then the next couple slides are just a few high-level things of what's going on. These kite shelters up here on the left, these are located at Boxcar Park, which is right by Guest Dock 6, between Guest Dock 6 and the fuel dock. Also good for, hosting small events and parties. And then if you are into walking, once you get to your boating destination, the whole trail system around the marina is about 3.5 miles long. But then you can also continue to go around Everett over to the river, to Riverside Business Park. You actually look across to Dagmar's Marina, and I-5 would be behind that. But the trail continues over there. And then up here on the right, Commodore Plaza, that's what Jeff was just talking about. That's the Anthony's Fish Window. So Anthony's and Anthony's Woodfire Grill are both located in the South Marina at the port. And a few years ago, they opened a fish window. So it's an easy, grab and go option, especially during COVID. And then we are really excited. The restroom at the jetty landing and boat launch area needs to be replaced. We have so many people that use it. Like Jeff said, we have the biggest launch in the state. So that is going to be redone. It's going to have a few extra restrooms added to it, and that will be started early next year.
It's really nice when you can get excited about a new restroom.
Yeah.
We actually are. It's been sort of undersized for the Jetty Island crowd, and it's been on the docket for being replaced for quite a while. So that should be the end of the summer, so that will be good.
And then
I'd put a plug in for that Jetty Island experience, and it is an experience you're going to want to book early. You're going to want to get your spot in line to get on that ferry that's how you're going to get there. But you get over there, you're in a different world. I almost feel like I'm in Venice Beach or something. It is a fun time. The water seems a little bit warmer there, and yeah, it's a great experience.
Gosh, I feel like I don't need to say anything else about Jetty. It was actually, we didn't have a ferry last year because of COVID, but this year we're partnering with the city of Everett and Snohomish County to make it possible for people to go over there. So it'll be a little bit different, and you can pre-reserve your ticket, which includes your ride for the ferry and parking for the day. But like Peter said, it's a great opportunity to take the family over there. You can actually go swimming, because when the tide is out and it comes back in, it's such a long sandy beach that the water gets really warm. So it's not your typical, Northwest cold water. But it's beautiful over there. The city of Everett is doing programming, and there's a portable restroom over there. So pets are not allowed on the island, which is something to note. But we just announced the return of that. So if you want to book your reservation, just go to our website and you'll see that info.
And Peter, no hunting over there either.
I know,
Yeah.
I can, it's got a little bit of a Muscle Beach feel to it, so I can pump some iron over there, Jeff, which I know everyone enjoys seeing. I almost hate sharing these kind of best kept secrets like Jetty Island, but for you at home, I would put that on a summer list for sure. Yep.
And then we also got kayak rentals. So if you don't want to lug a kayak with you on your trip, we do have rentals and stand-up paddle boards as well, and that's located at the boat launch area. And then we're excited. We are about to open the Mukilteo guest dock. So this picture down here is this is the new Mukilteo ferry terminal. And then just to the right of that, we are rebuilding the fishing pier and the dock, guest dock. And it's a great opportunity to come down. Ivers is just a quick walk away, so is Mukilteo Beach. And we have about 85 feet of dock there. There is no power or water on the dock, so that's important to know. And you can spend the night there. You just pay via DockWa, but it's a 2-night maximum. But it'll be a beautiful brand new dock, and we're hoping to open that early this summer.
Jeff or Kate, can you talk about the boat ramp, the silting in, how usable it is during low tides? Is that something that you're worried about?
Yeah, actually, that's something that we're always very concerned about. I mean, one of the challenges of being at the mouth of the Snohomish River is that siltation that comes down there. And that occurs in the boat launch particularly, but also in the North Marina a little bit, and then down where our fuel dock is, where I was showing you before. We're always dredging. Dredging is a big process. A lot of time goes into it with permitting. It's very costly as well, but we work with the Corps, and they have their core dredging that they actually do out in the river basin there. But it's a challenge for us, and we're working on both long-term and short-term solutions. And our engineering and planning department has been working with the Corps on how we handle those things. But like I said, because it takes time, people are going to have to watch tides for the summer. And at low tides, we're giving people the opportunity to go out the night before, put their boat at the guest dock, what have you, so that they don't get caught at a low tide. And like I said, we're trying to get on a program where it's not just doing dredging every 5 or 6 years, but it's more of a programmatic process where we can keep it dredged. And then, as I mentioned, the Corps is really looking into the longer term aspects of how we keep the siltation moving. As long as you can keep it moving, that prevents it from building up in any one area. And they do all sorts of modeling to sort of demonstrate how that can work, and hopefully they'll get on that program here real soon as well. So it is a challenge, but it's something that we're just aware of and that we have to deal with.
Kate, can I go through a few questions that have come in while we've been talking?
Yeah.
Does Jetty Island have a dinghy dock for coming over from the marina?
Yes, it's actually more than a dinghy dock, so you can bring your boat in there if you want and spend the night. Not a big yacht,
okay,
but
good to know.
There is room for multiple larger boats.
Okay. Is the old yacht club being removed or repurposed? That's our friend Thatcher, longtime listener, longtime viewer of our show.
Yeah, it is actually. That is going to be slated to be probably taken down next year sometime. In terms of repurposing it, we don't have anything slated for it right at this point in time. But the building will come down. We'll have some sort of a wharf over the top of that area. So it'll be open for a little bit until we decide what's actually going to go out there. There's been a couple different suggestions for what should go out there, but I think they're leaning towards some sort of high-end restaurant that would work well out there.
Thank you. Okay, that's when you keep on keeping on here.
Cool. Well, this is our last slide, and this is kind of talking about upcoming events. So like Peter mentioned, Salem Cinema, that is a go for this summer. It's for 6 Friday nights, starts on July 16th and ends on August 20th. We will be announcing the movie lineup soon, and it will be by reservation, so keep an eye out on our website and social media to sign up for that. And then the top left picture, we have always had music at the marina. This year it's going to be a little bit different. It'll be 4 Thursdays in August. It'll be close to the same location, and the Everett Music Initiative is working with us right now to solidify that and some of the 4th of July plans as well. We have 2 derbies that are slated for August and September, which always happen at the port. Salmon for Soldiers is in August, and then the Everett Coho Derby is in September. And then on the right, you'll see a picture of the Fresh Paint Festival. So Shack Art Center uptown in Everett puts this on every year. It's a super fun festival. With today's announcement, I think, maybe we'll be able to have a few more booths and more people attending. But that is also happening in August. It's a weekend full of fun. And traditionally, they have, those blown glass balls, and they actually hide them over at Jetty, so you can go over there for a morning and try to find them. So that's kind of a fun event. But as things keep rolling, we'll have more and more events. And like Mark said, come on up to Everett or down to Everett. You'll every time you come, there'll be something new and exciting.
Kate, did we get a confirmation on the car show again this year?
That is still in the works. Yeah, the Wheels on the Waterfront, they are, I believe, are planning on coming back again in August too.
Kate, what's the most popular movie that you've shown?
The most popular, probably one of the most requested, is The Sandlot, or Grease. Those are pretty high up there, but the kids' movies always do really well. I'll say that.
Nice.
That's great.
Yeah, we got to keep them somewhat PG, so we can't get into the really grisly movies.
Yeah, it's a family-friendly event, Peter.
Hey, I'm just asking. That's great. I love Sandlot.
That's fantastic what's going on in Everett. And you guys are really doing a fantastic job. And I can tell there's more to be announced. This announcement today regarding COVID and masks is really changing things for a lot of marinas. And I can tell other things. We're going to have to stay in touch with your website to see all the other things that are going to be coming in. That's fantastic.
Well, thank you very much for letting us share. Like I said, we're very excited about it, and there is more that's going to be coming down the pike, and we'll be sure to keep you guys apprised of what's going on.
Yeah, please do. When we do our updates, we not only do it, on the show and announce it, but of course we also do it on the Wagner Guide website with all the update table that we have. So, and a lot of people do look at that to see what's going on and what's new and different. You can ring the bell, Peter. I deserve it for that.
There you go.
We have a bell thing if you make a blatant plug for your product. So I get dinged quite a bit.
Well, Catherine and Kate aren't bashful at all about sharing what we're doing at the port. So they're part of our communications team, and they do a great job of keeping everybody informed of what's going on.
They do a great job. So thank you both very much for taking time out of your Thursday night to join us and to be our star guests. And we really appreciate it. Leonard and Lorena, what do we have for next week?
Next week, it's about hiring a captain to transport your boat. So if you don't want to go down to Mexico on your own or up to Southeast Alaska, you can hire a captain. So that'll be fun and interesting for next week.
And
our delivery captain's going to have all kinds of sea stories, I imagine, about some of the things he's faced on some of the deliveries. And if not, we'll make some of them up, I guess. I know he's got some great stories. It's going to be a lot of fun.
I think, and am I correct that he also does instruction work on your own boat?
He does. He'll also give instructions. So yeah.
Perfect.
Landon, and Mark, you've done such a great job. Can you talk about a few of the other shows up on the lineup coming up?
We're speechless, Peter.
Yeah, I don't have them memorized.
That's fine.
We do have them on the website, though, with a description of what they are. And we've recently updated all of them on the website. And for those of you not aware, we're now on YouTube as well as the Wagner website Wagner Facebook, I believe. So this show is available, and anybody who's missed it, you can go back and see the playback. And if you missed anything, the notes will all be there.
And the Wagner's
Yeah.
website is, can you remind folks at home?
WagnerGuide.com.
So
Very
the
good.
upcoming shows, we have also on May 27th, we have the state grants that benefit boating, the boating community. The RCO will be with us. And on June 3rd, we have boat building in Finland. And June 10th, we have derelict vessel removal, how it works and how you can help. And June 17th, what does it take to run a boatyard? All about how boatyards operate. So lots of good shows
Yeah,
coming
Phil
up.
Reese. Phil Reese will be our guest on that one.
Yeah,
yes.
he's going to be terrific.
You all don't even need to show up with Phil on there. He will take care of talking about just about
Yes,
everything.
he will.
Yes. Unleashed. No, it's excellent. Excellent. Well, that's excellent. Episode 45. We've been doing this for a year. Hard to believe. Thanks for those watching at home. We've got another full year ahead. No one's stopping us. We haven't been stopped. They've tried. We've beaten them back. So yeah, we're
going to have continued updates from our correspondents, the Landons.
Exactly. I was just going to add that. I was going to say
As
you're
they
going to
make
get
their
progress
way
reports.
north. You know, this is a big budget expedition. And they may even have some pictures of their sea dog, appropriately named Eddie. And
He's been at our feet here. We've been trying to keep him quiet during the webcast. He's been at our feet playing around. So.
As we continue to improve the show, I thought it would be fun to end with Roche Harbor Colors. Kate is no stranger to that experience, having worked at Roche Harbor for at least 2 summers, maybe 2.5. Is that right?
3.
3 summers. Yeah. What is the most, I don't know, what's the most common question you got working at Roche Harbor through the years?
What time is colors?
Okay. What time is colors?
It's at sunset.
That's sunset. Depends, I guess. Like any good answer. Depends.
Exactly.
Well, great. Well, thanks. Unless you all have anything else you want to say, let's say goodnight here with Roche Harbor Colors.
Go for it.
All right, let's do it.
Thanks, everybody.
Here we go.
Thank you.
Good afternoon, Kevin Carlton here, Harbor Master of Roche Harbor. Welcome. Talk to you a little bit today about the color ceremony of our Roche Harbor Resort. Our color ceremony was started by the late Reuben Tart, founder of Roche Harbor as a resort in 1956, with the first color ceremony going off in 1957. Our color staff consists of 4 to 5 dock staff that do the color ceremony every evening, 10 minutes before sunset. They'll march out to Colonel Bogey's March to the flags, where they promptly take down the Roche Harbor Burgee first, and then they'll take down the Washington State flag, and then take down the Canadian flag, and then followed last by the British flag, and then the American flag comes down with a salute to colors by a cannon, and then plays taps. In Roche Harbor, please come and join us for our time-honored celebration. We look forward to sharing this experience with all of the boaters here at Roche Harbor, and have a safe and happy boating season.
Check 1, check. Yeah, this is Joel. Good, they got through the border. Now, it's kind of cool. They're over in Canada, which is like the big get. Yeah, they didn't really just into a farm. But this is even being discussed. I don't know. Watch the borders. Yeah, exactly.